Narrative essays, brought to you by me, Miss Clark. Imagine yourself in this situation. You're at a family reunion and you're cornered by your great Aunt Marge. She starts to tell you all about her latest trip to the eye doctor. She goes into grueling detail, even trying to remember what each line she was asked to read was. She then spends 10 minutes trying to remember the name of the secretary who helped her at the eye doctor. Heather, Hillary, Tiffany, Stephanie. You're bored out of your mind listening to Aunt Marge. Luckily, your Uncle Joe swoops in with a story about the time his boat was struck by lightning and caught on fire while he was fishing off the coast of Morocco. The boat sank, and him and his dog had to swim to a desert island where they lived for 30 whole days on nothing but a diet of fish and coconuts until the helicopter finally came to rescue them. Both Aunt Marge's and Uncle Joe's stories are narratives. One of them is just a little bit better than the other. So what even is a narrative then? A narrative is a story about a specific event in the writer's life. For example, for Aunt Marge, it was the eye doctor trip. For Uncle Joe, it was his desert island stay. You can think of relating narratives to narration. Narration is the voice that carries the story, and narratives are a story. Narratives are usually written in first-person point of view, meaning they typically use the pronouns I, me, and mine. Think of first-person point of view like virtual reality. Writing an essay in first-person point of view allows the reader to view the story from your perspective as if they'd put on virtual reality goggles to look in on your life from your personal point of view. Narrative essays also typically have a theme, a moral, or a lesson at the end of the story, something that the reader can gain from reading it. Think of The Tortoise and the Hare, or The Boy Who Cried Wolf, which are very common stories that have very common themes in them. Narratives are typically written for one of three purposes: to inform, to entertain, or to persuade. Your story's purpose and theme are almost always codependent. For example, if your story is about the time you went skydiving and your parachute almost didn't open, if you write it for each of the three purposes, it will likely have three different themes. If you write it to inform, you may be informing your readers of the dangers of skydiving. If you write it to entertain, you may be trying to shock or scare your readers, or remind them that life is precious. If you write it to persuade, you may be trying to persuade your readers to not go skydiving. No matter your essay's purpose or theme, you want to make sure you excite your readers and make them crave more. You can ensure your readers are not bored by picking a topic that is meaningful, not mundane. For example, the first time you met your baby sister, the first time you fell in love, or the death of a close family member are all good topics to write about. Unless you have really exciting grocery trips, a time you went grocery shopping is definitely not a good topic for your narrative essay. If you're struggling to think of a meaningful topic, remember that even little events can carry lots of meaning. For example, I once wrote a narrative essay about how somebody told me to play the ukulele. Of course, there was more to it than just that, and the moral of the essay was to follow your dreams despite what anyone says, but the point is that an event doesn't have to be monumental for it to be meaningful. Once you've got your topic picked and you're into writing your essay, there's a couple small ways to make sure that your essay is the best it can be. First of all, try to put in literary devices naturally, and definitely shoot for more than one. Don't just shove literary devices in because they have to be in your essay. Put them in where they feel right. A good example of a literary device is the one I have on the screen. This is a metaphor. When he texted me, I could feel sunshine from the light on my phone. Another thing to remember is that narratives are usually in chronological, or time, order, such as the one on the screen, where the boy finds out the mom is pregnant, then it goes to them in the waiting room, and then he's meeting his sister for the first time. This usually happens naturally while you're writing your essay because it doesn't make sense to write the story out of order usually. There are some exceptions to this, of course. Sometimes people write their narratives in not chronological order, but that's usually a stylistic choice. For example, the one on the screen, you might choose to tell the story of the time you climbed a mountain by first describing how you felt at the top of the mountain and then describing the journey upwards. In the end, though, the number one thing you want to remember is that this essay is all about you. You need to write what is most meaningful to you and what makes you happy. Thank you for watching. Good luck on your essay, and happy writing! Contact me if you have any questions about anything.